What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Victoria and today's video is going to be a simple tutorial on how to make a kimono jacket. For this project I'll be working with this colorful bright Ankara fabric, and I have 2 yards and about 4 inches of this. Now I'm going to be folding the fabric twice. This is the first folding along the 2 yards and the second one will be along the folded end like so. I'll make sure it's folded properly and all the sides are aligned correctly. So now that I'm done folding, it's time to start working on the jacket. I'll be taking the full measurement of the folded fabric just to be sure I'm satisfied with the length. So I have 38 inches and I'm okay with that. Now I'll be moving on to the neckline, and I'll be using 3 inches for the neck width and 1.5 inches for the neck depth. The front and back will be cut together, so I'm starting with the back neckline. So after marking, I'm just going to connect the 2 points together and cut it out. So now that I'm done with the back neckline, I'll be moving on to draw out the front neckline. The neck width remains the same, but for the neck depth, I'll be going down by 16 inches from the beginning of the fabric. I'll be marking out that point and then I'm going to connect it in a V shape to the neck width. So I'm just going in with my straight ruler to connect the 2 points together like so. Now, because this is a kimono jacket and the center front is meant to be open, I'll be going in by half an inch from the center front. That's after the 16-inch neck depth. I'll do the same at the end of the fabric and then I'll go ahead to connect the 2 points together. I won't be cutting it out just yet. First, I'll go ahead to insert the rest of my measurements, starting with my bust point at 11 inches. So I'm marking 11 inches downward from the beginning of the fabric. I'll be marking the point across and then going in with my ruler to square it out. And that will become my bust line. So now on the bust line, I'm going to be inserting my bust circumference divided by 4. So I'm marking that point away from the center front along the bust line, and to that measurement I'll be adding 3.5 inches. You can add between 3 to 4 inches depending on how big you want your jacket to be. I decided to add 3.5 inches. Moving on, the next measurement I'll be taking is my armhole measurement divided by 2. Mine is 17 inches divided by 2, that gives me 8.5. I'll be adding 1 inch to that because it's meant to be loose around the armhole, which brings it to 9.5. And then I'll be connecting that point to meet the bust line. So using my free hand, I'm connecting the bust line to meet the armhole like so. Now at this point, if you want your jacket to be straight, all you have to do is to continue with the measurement you have on the bust line all the way down to the very end. But I want mine to be an A-shaped kimono, so I'll be marking the rest of my measurements. So now I'm going ahead to mark my waistline at 17 inches. I'll be squaring out that point across as well before moving on to mark my hip line, which is 9 inches downwards from the waistline. I'll be marking that point across, then square it out with my ruler and insert my hip circumference divided by 4 plus the 3.5 inches. If you noticed, I didn't insert my waist measurement because that won't be necessary for this jacket. So now, in order to create the A shape that I want for this jacket, I'll be adding extra 2 inches to the measurement I have on the hip line. That's a quarter of my hip circumference plus 3.5 inches plus 2 inches. And I'll be transferring that exact measurement to the hemline. And when I've done that, the next thing I'll be doing is to connect the hemline directly to the bust line with my ruler. So after connecting the 2 points together, I'll be going in with my scissors to cut along those lines. So now that that's done, it's time to finish cutting out the front part I'll begin by making a small notch to indicate the midpoint of the neckline, and then I'm going to open it up to separate the front from the back. Once it's separated, I'll be folding it again along the center front. So that's the importance of the notch I created, so I can maintain the same midpoint. So now it's time to go ahead and cut out the front neckline, after which I'll continue opening up the center front. Remember, I went in by 1/2 inch, so I'm just cutting that part open all the way down. And that's that for the cutting of the kimono. Now I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. So here's what it looks like. We're all done cutting out the kimono jacket, and what's left to do is to stitch it down. Now, if you won't be mixing this print with another fabric, you can simply fold in the sleeves, stitch down the sides, and then cut out a strip of the same fabric to finish off the front and hem the bottom. But I'll be combining mine with a black fabric, so I'm going to be cutting out 3 separate strips using the black fabric, one for the front and one for each sleeve. So this is the fabric I'll be using to combine the jacket with. I've gone ahead to cut out the pieces I'll be attaching to the front of the jacket and the end of the sleeve. Each one is 5 inches wide, so that when folded it becomes 2.5 inches. And the length is equal to that of the front jacket and the sleeve. So I went ahead and added some interfacing to the fabric because I wanted it to be a bit stiff. So what I'm going to do now is to place it to the right side of the front jacket like so, and I'm going to stitch down the open end with a 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I'm going to stitch it all around and then flip over the folded end like so and give it a good press. I'll do the same to the sleeves as well. I'm placing it right sides to the open end of the sleeve. I'm going to stitch it down and flip it over. So guys, after stitching and giving it a good press, this is what it looks like. This is the front, and here's what the sleeve looks like. So what's left to do now is to finish off the sides and to fold in the hemline. So I'm going to be turning this over to the wrong side so I can stitch down the sides and the hemline and bring it back to show you the final look. So guys, I'm all done stitching and this is the final look right here. I hemmed the bottom with a 1 inch sewing allowance and used 1/2 inch sewing allowance along the sides. So this is basically it for the jacket. It's very simple and straightforward. I hope you try it out because it came out so well. We've come to the end of this tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any question, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video.